Hello friends, let's learn Midnight on the Water, a waltz associated with Texan fiddler Luke Thomason. I'm going to use this tune to show you how to play chords and harmony, particularly to play an accompanying counter melody and the melody at the same time. There's lots of opportunity for ornamentation in this as well, particularly because it's a waltz and it's a little bit slower. So lots of 3-run triplets, but particularly there's room to do what I can best describe as a double pull-off hammer-on fiddle roll. You'll just have to keep watching to find out how. As always, all of the notation for this tab, stave, ABCs, it's all available on my Patreon, Enda Scahill Banjo. I use the Sound Slice platform so you can loop bars, you can slow it down, you can speed it up, zoom in, zoom out, whatever you want to do. Got all the good stuff. To make playing the chords easier when we get around to the harmony section of this, the tune is in the key of D. So I'm going to suggest that you tune your G string up to A, and that creates essentially an open A and an open D tuning on the banjo. The notation is a great way to follow exactly what's going on because the tab will show you where to put your fingers, even if you're a bit confused with the G tuned up to A. And to do it, just simply grab it and tune up the octave. You may have to make a little micro adjustment to the D string because sometimes when you tighten the pressure on the bridge by bringing your G up to A, the D can go a tiny bit sharp. It may not, but it's worth checking. It's a quirky tune. The first part is your standard 8 bars and it's repeated, but the second part of the tune as it's written is the full 16 bars. Now, some people will play the first part twice and the second part once, and that kind of makes up your normal 32 bar tune. I like to play the second part twice, so it makes it like a very long second part and a normal length first part. And either way is fine, that's just the way I've always done it, and it's a beautiful tune, so why not play the second part twice? Here is a slowed down version of the tune. Don't worry too much about picking in the first part. There's a lot of the same note repeated, and you have two choices. You can jump on and off the frets to kind of punch out the rhythm, or you can leave your finger on in place, and that creates that legato feel. Either one is fine. So let's talk a little bit about ornamentation. We're going to do simple stuff first. So just the single note triplets on the right hand. Lots of space and time for doing these because the waltz is just nice and loosey-goosey. It's easy to play. So here we go. The next progression is to use 3-note triplets, short chromatic runs. The right hand is doing the same thing, of course, with the down, up, down on your triplet. But this time we're going to engage the left hand and get it to do a little bit more work and to bring those 3-note triplets in as little run-ups and run-downs. Alright, so that's still nice and simple, nice and easy. Now I want to show you the double pull-off, hammer-on fiddle cut, for want of a better term. So I'm just going to show you the technique and then we'll put it into the tune. So there's one that happens on the E note, on the D string, and so the notes are, okay, E, F sharp, E, D, E. We're going to create it by doing a single stroke on the E, hammering on the F sharp, pulling off the F sharp to make the E, pulling off the E to make the D, and then another stroke. So it sounds like that. Trying to slow it down. It's hard to do it slow and fully execute it. So stroke, hammer on, pull off, stroke. So it comes in at the end of the first part, on the last bar, at this stage. it's a nice, it's hard. Let's not pretend that it's not, okay? So there's a lot of finger work involved, a lot of control, hammering on, pulling, doing 2 pull-offs in a row. But it does give a very nice feel. All right, try it out, see what you think. There's another one that happens on the F sharp on the E string. So I'm going to do a version of the tune now where I'm just going to kind of up the overall ornamentation, adding these in. There's also going to be a number of slides and other little pull-offs as well. So just listen out for them. And again, notation is probably the easiest way to grab a lot of these. And that, as usual, is available on Patreon. So hopefully you're able to pick it out from the mix. Definitely worth a go, very challenging, and I hope you enjoy some of those. Let's crack on with chords. Chords and harmony. So this is where we're essentially going to accompany ourselves. And you can do this very nicely on this tune. We're going to start off straight from the very, very start of the tune. So I said it's in the key of D, and if you imagine you were a double bass player, you will probably play these notes at the start of the tune. So this is what it sounds like when we play the melody and the chords at the same time. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, this is why we tune the G string up to D. And it brings our D note for that bottom chord onto fret 5. So we can reach it nice and easily. Then the C sharp is just right here on 4. And then the B minor chord. A. Back to the D. G. So the first half is not that complicated in terms of fingering, actually. A little bit of jumping around. And it is one of the benefits of learning to harmonize and to play double stops, is that it brings an awful lot more flexibility into your left hand finger position. So rather than being stuck with my ring finger only plays fret 5 and isn't really able to do anything else, by doing the chords it forces them into unusual shapes, and therefore it creates more flexibility in your ability to move your left hand around the fretboard essentially. Second half has a little bit more jumping around involved, and I'll show you why. D. A. B minor. Now that's a 3-string chord. So you're going to catch the F sharp on the D string, then the B, and the F sharp minor. In order to do that, you got to get this 4th finger up nice and high. It won't do to be flat. And this is where the biggest jump is that we got to get a G chord. That involves playing a G and a D. All right. And after that, the melody goes. All right, but your G is tied up with this guy. So instead, we're going to use our index finger for the C sharp and slide it down. Now, just because of where it all is, it's going to be like a touch chord on that G. We're just going to jump onto it. All right. You could leave out the G chord, but it just wouldn't feel as satisfying because you wouldn't have completed the sequence. All right. So here's the second half. So, you thought this was a simple little waltz. Turns out there's loads of stuff to do in it. I'm going to play through the entire tune now with the chords, with the pull-offs, with the hammer-ons, with the slides, with the ornamentation, with the triplets, with the whole bells and whistles. And hopefully you'll be able to pick out loads from this to challenge yourself and to practice. And again, for those that are able, the notation, the tab, the stave is definitely a way to be able to just grab the little nuances and the little subtleties that are happening and understand just in those individual bars exactly what's going on. So here we go. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying these videos, please do subscribe, drop a comment, it all helps. And of course, if you want to learn more, I have so much material now on Patreon and a very engaged and very communicative community of banjo players on my Discord channel, monthly Zooms, feedback videos. Got it all going on. And thanks for watching.